Hi guys, welcome to the Tattooed Business Doc. I'm just Dr. Justin Buerta. Right, HR, an introduction. I think the best way to explain human resources in South Africa is pretty much about 10 years ago I did a white paper on HR in South Africa when I did a course in that. And I wrote about it, I coined it the fire pit syndrome. And that is where your workers, obviously it's African workers, and those, your more general laborers, and I mean even above them, your skilled laborers, all those kind of people, and every industry pays people differently, and the structure of pay is differently. It's determined by the sectorial things, and there's so many things that actually has to be taken into consideration when it comes to pay structures and HR and those kind of things. But it's heavily governed in this country, heavily governed. There will be another segment where I'll actually explain to you how apartheid and everything else has filtered through to such extent that it dictates labor, dictates BE, all those kind of things, and how the ANC is using same racial laws and structures as the apartheid government to pretty much take control of what's happening in the world. But we've got bargaining council collective and those kind of things. So, I experience this a lot where people, let's say in the logistics industry, they get health, it's like a wellness fund card so they can go to doctors and all those kind of things. They've got their pensions, they've got dispute levies. They also have all sorts of funds where they get the bonuses paid by the bargaining council. They also get paid every 3 years for whatever medical aid or medical sick days they haven't taken, all those kind of things. Now, I've never heard of actually being paid out for sick days, but that's how the negotiations went. Now, other industries are not the same, and I've had this where you'll find that the guys from this industry will go stand around a drum. Now, a fire pit for me is one of those 20-liter drums that they throw wood in, and they stand around there with the black labels in their hands, and they just talk. And they say, but at my work, I have this. At my place of work, I have that. And they all stand there, and they all try and educate each other about what their benefits are and all those kind of things. So they just fail to tell each other they don't work in the same bloody industry. The mining cannot be compared with logistics. Logistics cannot be compared to finances. In my world, I don't pay pension. I don't pay medical aids. You get your salary, and it's up to you to what you do with your salary. I'm not going to be prescribed by anybody what I do. And so it's a bit of a lost argument when those people stand around the fire pit. But you'll find that they on a Friday, Saturday night stand around the fire pit, drink too much, and they banter. And then all of a sudden, Monday morning, you get into your office. Next minute, you're stormed by 100 people. It's like the Zulus are coming over the bloody mountain. So then everybody's like, why don't I have this? Why don't I have this? Why don't I have this? And then you sit there and you're like, but that's not your terms of employment. But unfortunately, that is the problem we sit with in this country. It is the greatest problem we sit with in this country, is that they lend out their ears too much, and they've got no consideration or no inclination to understand the environment they work in. Then I have another story, and this story I actually did a test about this because I've got clients, small construction clients, small plumbing clients, guys like that, small electricians. And they do projects here, there, and there, and they normally have like 4 or 5 fixed staff members that they always use, and they pretty much on the books always. Then they pick up guys next to the road. That's why you see a lot of guys sitting at robots and stop streets, and then they'll run and say, I'm a painter, I'm an electrician, whatever. And some of my clients would go and get those guys for specific projects. And I actually said to him, you know what, if there's one thing I know about African and the labor force in South Africa, is they like instant gratification, which means I work today and I get paid today. Then I go and waste all that money. I go and drink it out, or I do whatever I do with that money. I have no care or consideration for that money because, quite frankly, government gives them everything for free. So I have any consideration. But the problem there is that, is that instant gratification. And I said to my clients, you know what? Test this for me. Employ him today, pay him today. But you say to him, listen, I want that hole dug 5 meters by the time I get back this afternoon. Because obviously, as a business person, you cannot stand on site the whole day. You've got to get to other clients. You've got to get to other places where you do quotations, this, that, and you're hoping that your foreman, that you've got the guys, the 4 or 5 guys that's always working for you, they're taking care of the site. So I say, tell that guy This is his task for the day, and if he fulfills that task, you'll pay him today. Plus, maybe if he does even better, you'll give him 10 rand extra. And we tested this, and I'll tell you the production that took place and how quickly things happened. I mean, some of the projects was actually concluded 2 or 3 days before date. So your date of delivery was actually sooner than what you actually thought. You know how much money you can save in 3 days? If your project is done 3 days before it's due, it gives you more time to make sure everything's correct. That you do not do these things on point number 99 and piss off your clients and cost you more money. And also you've got to get more people because you need to get this job done. And I'll tell you, it was something like 83, 84%. This instant gratification directly translated into higher production and less wastage. And I mean, it was actually shocking. But it's the instant gratification. It's the sense of entitlement. And trust me, everybody's got that. Race does not really, these days, race do not determine that. And there's kids that are 18, 19 years old that want to start working for 25,000 Rand. I mean, dude, you know what? When I started out in the day, I was earning 1,600 Rand. My rent was 1,200 Rand. Then I had to get fuel, food. Hell, by the time you're done, you've got 20 Rand left to go and have a party. Maybe one weekend go and get sloshed on 20 bucks. Back in the day when I was younger, 26 odd years ago. I mean, you could get far with 20 Rand, but I mean, you can't even buy fuel with 20 Rand today. So the reality of it all is that the labour market in South Africa is highly overrated, and it's also highly legislated. And we are struggling. I mean, I must be honest, we are scratching the bottom of the barrel. And it's a massive problem. I see it. The skills drainage is real. It is really, really real. I see it in my clients' businesses. I'm like, you employed this person? They had the intelligence of a shoe brush. Hell, I wouldn't even use them to polish my shoes. I'll have no leather left. And it's terrible to see. It's terrible to see. But we've got to make the best of a bad situation. And that's why I always advise, you know what? Get someone that knows what they're doing to make sure your HR is run properly. Contracts, company policies and procedures, clocking and timing, disciplinary hearings, everything. Make sure that is all covered. Because, you know, and a lot of guys have got their favorites. There's no such thing as a favorite in business. Each and every person works you on equal footing. Do never ever have a favorite. You know what? And we all do. We literally all do. But everybody is equal before the law. That's how I got you back. And I'll see you next time. Everything's going to be okay.